Chevy distributor and a Ford. So this is a HEI distributor and a small block Ford. And we'll get into it. It's a 90s F-150 that's been carb converted. And I'm doing a little bit of a longer video than usual because all I ever do is shorts. And maybe if somebody's actually interested in doing this or thinking about it or hemming or hawing it, this is some real shit. So this is what it is. This is what I did and some things to know. So I started with Chevy and then I went to Ford, and I've never mixed the two together, so here we are. And when I do Chevys, I like to keep this front and center, right? So whenever it really doesn't matter, probably not, but for me, all the lines and all the stuff and everything's just happier when this is front and center. So this was an AC truck, so I got a whole bunch of playlists and stuff on my channel. I chopped this off to give me clearance so I could get this sitting what I view as correctly. And our plug wires and everything worked out. So what I did, this is an Amazon, cheap as you can get, MAS makes it distributor for a 5-liter Ford, right? But what I did differently, I was concerned with the fit, right, of the plug wires to caps. So to eliminate any issues, I got plug wires for an 80s Chevy 350 pickup, right? Because I know it's got the HEI, so I know that this is designed for that just from the get-go. I don't have to worry about anything getting crossed up. And it sounds dumb, but it worked out. You know, whatever differences in slack or whatever the difference is, I mean, this worked out really good. And these do fit good, so that worked. Another thing to know, again, I like to keep this in my brain separate, Chevy, Ford. So vacuum advance. There was a whole debate online about should you run your timed vacuum port or your manifold vacuum port, right? And there was this whole thing where manifold vacuum makes everything better all the time and you should never ever use the time thing, and the time thing was for emissions, and nothing is ever that easy. So here's what I've kind of uncovered. I tried it out. I had a Ford 76 Ford, right? And it had the factory ignition, so it went. It didn't. I tried it. It didn't work. It didn't like it. It did. None of anywhere in its throttle response driving was it happier, from mileage to anything, right? So, fuck. Why is that? Well, then I remember working with Chevys, and with Chevys, it's like a manifold vacuum thing to the point where you have to plug your vacuum canister to do your timing or it'll throw your distributor out, right? So it's manifold vacuum, right? So what I did was treating it separately is my vacuum goes straight to manifold because this distributor, and I researched it online, and as far as I can tell, as posted by different designers of the HEI system that were involved back in the day and everything else, these are designed for manifold vacuum, not timed. The Ford's systems, however, are designed for a timed manifold vacuum port, and if you right, so run it that way if you got it that way. So it depends what your distributor is designed for. That's what I was told. Who knows what the truth is, but I do know. I tried manifold vacuum on a stock Ford setup, and like I said, it wasn't happy. So this time we're going manifold vacuum because I know this is Chevy. So this Ford will get some Chevy manifold vacuum, and this should work okay. So the only thing that really will throw you off with this is the diameter of the cap, and I'll show you here. If we can see with our light. See the base of the distributor there where it meets the intake? If this focuses, it probably won't. But you can see there's a gap there now. You can see that even though it's not focused. That was me. Check out my playlist. Clearancing and getting this thing in was kind of an unexpected fuck around. So I had clearance because this intake is late 80s, early 90s. So nobody was doing that then, and I don't know if they're making provisions for HEI distributors in the new intakes or what the deal is. I've never heard of anybody having this problem. Now that I've had this problem, I can't believe I'm the only one that's had this problem. These were never designed to work together, so something's got to give, and it did. So, other thing is going to be air cleaner interference. So if you look here, if you have an air cleaner that steps down, you may have problems. There's a reason I went with this setup. And then front of the you get tight, you get closer to your front of your carburetor as well too. So depending on the Holley flow pole or what you're doing, you might get close. But I think that's it. Biggest one for me, biggest mind blow for me was that Chevy distributor, Chevy manifold vacuum, right? And then Ford distributor timed. And you know that's probably what I do. I think Dodge is timed as well, but if I don't mess with a lot of Dodges. So anybody who's a Dodge guy watches this, comment, post it, whatever. But yeah, that was the biggest one for me. Anyway, if you think about getting one of these distributors, one last thing is I'll be taking this apart. I'll be pulling this out, priming my oil system because this engine, right? Just priming my oil system, and then I'm going to be diuretic grease the whole thing, meaning my ignition module, all the stuff, because I don't trust that that's been done. So, right, we'll be popping the rotor off, doing our thing. Other thing, this is the EFI distributor I ground. I've got a playlist on homemade tools, and this is kind of one of them. So gears ground completely down, and then this can drop onto my oil pump, and I can run it with a cordless drill because this engine has sat for over a year. And this way I can start cycling some oil pressure through it, a couple of days or whatever till we fire it up. So yeah, I'll be going with priming the oil, priming the fuel, getting everything. We're getting close. So, but yeah, they've got. I'm gonna add this to a playlist. Check out my channel if you've never seen these. I've got playlists of the whole build. This will be added with the HEI distributor thing. That way you can kind of see why I clearance this and why I do things the way I do. And hopefully, if you're thinking about getting one of these, this open dries to some problems and shit. So. Probably babbled long enough. Like, subscribe, do your thing.